time with my family, security for my family, security, the knowledge that at the end of the month I can pay my bills, that I don't have to worry. Good, strong, universal public services and a strong sense of community. This is what people say they want in their lives. It's not that much. So why can't they have it? Why don't we have this Scotland? What's the Scotland we actually do have? Usually you're told, the problem with this is you can't afford it. You can't afford it, can't afford the public service, you can't afford it, blah, blah, blah. You spend too much. And so this is not true. Austerity is not a means of accounting, austerity is an ideology. Let me explain to you why it is that we do not have to accept this. We do not have to take this situation. Imagine what a decent salary might be. What would you say is a reasonable wage? You can keep your family on it, participate in the economy, pay your bills, you know, hire a tax lawyer to dodge your taxes, you're not relying on tax credits. 25,000 to 35,000 pounds, something like that. 25%, 35 to 40. Of everybody working in Scotland today, only 1 in 5 earns between 25,000 and 35,000 pounds. 3 out of 5 working Scots earns less than 25,000 pounds, and half of everybody working in Scotland earns less than 21,000 pounds. We are the second lowest pay economy of all the advanced economies in the world. Britain is a low pay economy, and this matters not only to those in low pay, but to all of us. To show you why this is, what we did was there's a paper on our website you can have a look at, refoundation.org. And what we said was, let's have a look at what it would look like if we didn't have this rubbish labour market. If we weren't a poverty economy, what would happen? So what we did was we didn't notionally grow the economy, we just kept the economy that we've got. But what we said was, if we distributed salaries like they do in a Nordic country, so not the big mega salaries at the top, and not the low pay at the bottom, just distributed them more evenly. And we had the level of participation in the labour market, low levels of unemployment they have in a Nordic country. We didn't touch tax rates at all. We didn't do anything else. We just ran the tax model again with that labour market. It generated £4 billion of additional tax without doing anything else. That is the dividend of a high pay economy. That's IFS sorted. Because they were saying, oh, there might be a £4 billion gap, and we'll be back. Well, let's forget it. We've got that resolved. We have to move to a high pay economy. It resolves all of the rest of our problems. And that £4 billion doesn't even include all the money you would save when you're not having to pay tax credits for the poor. And you don't have to pay unemployment benefit for people who can't find work, and you're not paying all the social costs of our low pay economy. But why have we got a low pay economy? What causes it? What's the reason? Well, that's really straightforward. Britain, for the last 40 years, has pursued only one model of social and economic development. It's a conflict model. This philosophy says that if you put two people in a room, whoever comes out alive must be the best. And the other one, the loser, nothing to learn, nothing to gain from them. This philosophy drives everything. If a big company can put all the high street companies in your high street out of business, that must be best for you. If a developer can buy all the available land for housing in your area and use it to push up house prices, that must be the best for you. If we get into a system whereby your kid at 16 doesn't get the right exam at school, then in that conflict model they lost, and they'll pay for that for the rest of their life. That conflict model has created a Britain which is a mess. We are the second lowest pay economy. We work the third longest hours in Europe. Our wages have fallen faster than all but 3 other countries in Europe since the financial crash. We've the 8th biggest gap between men and women's wages in the European Union. We are 16 points behind the average productivity of an advanced economy. We've got the third highest housing costs, highest rail costs, highest childcare costs, we've got the lowest pension. Our pensioners are the 4th most likely to end up in poverty in the entire European Union, including Bulgaria. Now that's what we've created with our conflict economy. It is great if you're the winner, but the problem is very few of us really won. Proportionately, most of us came second. Now, what we have to do is say there are other ways to run your society and your economy. Other people do this. The Nordics assume that you get better results if you use a mutual model of social and economic development. As the former Norwegian Prime Minister, Jens Stoltenberg, put it, he said, to build more, we must share more. Now, if you think about that, starts to open up some policy approaches which we don't just use. Let me give you an example of what's basically wrong with our economy. Imagine you're running a nursery school and you want to get stuff built. What would you do? You let the biggest wain shove the other wains out of the way, grab and hoard the Lego? No, nothing gets built. Grabbing Lego and hoarding Lego becomes the purpose of the game. That is the British economy. If you want to get stuff built in a nursery school, it is essential that you spread the Lego more evenly. And some of the kids might hoard. Some of the kids might stick Lego up their nose. But some of them will build. And this is the key. If you want to get stuff built, people have to have access to resources, access to finance, access to our natural resources, the ability to use our human resources. But we don't do that in this country because we take easy, big, quick, cheap, money-making scheme options for our economy. So we have an economy that's based on retail. Buy cheap stuff in China. Bring it over here, build a shed in a field and take your money off you to buy this stuff at a price significantly higher than they paid for it. Where's the value created in that? Or, again, it's the same industries, or buy a house, sell it, buy 2, sell it, buy 5, sell it, buy 10. 7 out of the 10 richest people in Britain, according to the Sunday Times Rich List, are property developers. Now, where are they making their money from? From you. It's from anyone else to live in a house. It's from any family that has to start and trying on the housing ladder. It's them who are making this money for these people. And again, no value created, no wealth created from this. We know what the banks have done. We know what advertising and marketing are. All of these are the British industries, the dominant British industries, and all of them are about extracting income from the economy, not creating value. We don't create value anymore. Now that's important, because what skill do you need to make money to a supermarket? All the skill necessary to put a coat hanger on a rail. Now that's how we extract the value in our economy. And the businesses that we have, they are low skilled and low productivity, so we don't pay. They're highly profitable only because of the volume. So it's how much you sell, number of times that you sell something at a low margin. That's how we build our economy. It's great if you're a multinational, it's rubbish if you're anybody else. What we need to do is say, no, hold on a minute. Our economy is not somehow divorced from our democracy. It's not somehow outside our society. It's not something that we haven't got a right to say, you know, I don't like this low-pay society we've created. And you can do it, and others have. And that's the key thing that we've got to learn. We did it. Between 1945 and 1975, the period in Britain's history with the best economic growth, the best social outcomes, the best measures across the board, we ran an industrial policy. And industrial policy says, no, we have a right to dictate or to at least try to influence the kind of economy that we want. And if we want a high-pay economy, we have a right to pursue it. It's what the Nordic countries do right now, and it's why they are such effective societies. So what we need is an industrial policy for Scotland. There's no time to go into any debt here just now, but I'm going to give you a couple of quick examples. We need to have a national investment bank, which is supporting the businesses patiently and carefully. Our banks are short-termist in the extreme. Sterling's a currency where if you borrow at lunchtime, and you haven't made a profit by tea time, you've done something catastrophically wrong. We need borrowing which is 5 years and 10 years to let manufacturing industries grow. Because these industries, these manufacturing industries, these are industries that create value. And they create value because the people in those industries are skilled. They're skilled and they work, and they take things and they manufacture, they make them work more than they were, and they become worth paying. We need to get rid of those kind of industries in our economy, and we need to intervene to do it. We have to use procurement policy to create markets for our emerging industries. We have to use build and train contracts, so that if there are things that we can't do yet, we bring in companies to help us do it, but to help us train, so that in the future we can do it. In 1970, the Norwegians didn't have a single oil engineer in the whole country. By 1980, the entire Norwegian oil industry was completely nationalised and completely self-sufficient because they spent 10 years training and learning to run that industry. So what industries do we want? What do we want to do? We're going to put a paper out soon which is called 12 Industries that Scotland Wants to Have. And it's an attempt for us to say, oh my God, can we please stop talking about oil? That was just something we found in the back garden. Nice to have it, but that's not our future. That's not harnessing the talent of the Scottish people. That's not giving jobs to our young people who are coming out of colleges and universities that want to build. We need to give them the access to the resource to enable them to build. And we can do that using an industrial policy. So, what is it that we want to do? I'll just give you one example. Scotland has some of the world's leading expertise on hydrogen batteries. We're already starting building one of the world's first hydrogen-powered sea ships. It's being built, it's about to start being built in Scotland. Hydrogen batteries are going to fuel the world's transport in the coming century. Why is it not on everybody's lips that we are going to build an industry that employs thousands and thousands of people, and we're going to export an incredibly important new product to the world because we're the leaders in it? Is it good enough that no multinational corporation has said, we're going to turn up and do this for you? Why don't we step up and we say, this is a chance for all of us? We will create a national mutual company. We will give every citizen in this country one non-tradable share in this business. We will back it up with loan guarantees from the Scottish Government. And we will create that company as a major manufacturing company. And as its shareholders, every year in November, just in time for Santa coming, you can get your dividends from your national company. Why can't we do that? Other people do this, and it changes their society. Now, we call this Commonweal. It's a phrase that we put together, we brought. It just means well shared in common for the common well-being. We've got a Commonweal project. We've published about 23, 24 papers on this. We've been nearly another 30 to go, but we've 50 major detailed reports covering how we transform this nation in every detail, all the way across our economy and our society. Should be ready to be launched in early May. That's why my beard's going quite as fast as it is. But it is a way of saying we can change things. We can make a massive difference here. And if we do, we can understand the change, and it works like this. A productive economy makes high-paid jobs. High-paid jobs make wealthy people. Wealthy people pay their taxes. That makes strong public finances. Strong public finances enable us to have the excellent universal public services we say we want. And these public services are what make social cohesion that keeps our society together and stops it falling apart in the nasty way that we are seeing in England, where the poor and the disabled are being blamed for things which are not their fault. This is the Scotland. So, if that's what we want, we can see with absolute confidence and with complete certainty that we know what we want. We know how to get it because we've seen who've done it. We have everything that we need right here. Don't let them tell you that we need to negotiate with London till they give us the things that will enable us to be a reasonable country. We don't need anything. We have everything that we need in this country right now to be that success. We know what we want. We know how to get it. There is nobody that can stop us from pursuing this if we have the powers to go after it. And so, this is the big hope. We've had 40 years of me first politics in Britain, where we all came second. This is our chance, maybe our one chance, to have a politics that puts all of us first.